I'm Viji I am 89 years old and I come from Sri Lanka. Mostly I read. Occasionally I cook, but most of the time I'd like to spend time reading. Well, I grew up till I was about 14 in this little village where our family had a home, and I went to the Sinhala school there and studied in Sinhala, my own language, into another school where I studied some English. But I was familiar with English because my older sisters and brothers who were studying in Colombo used to come for the holidays and generally speak in English. My father was a landed proprietor, that is called. He owned some land there and he looked after the land, but he was very much involved in the social activities of the village. He was considered educated man with a certain ability to do things in the village. Now, for instance, he organized a cooperative store so that people in the village would get goods at fair prices, and he was very involved in it. And also, as an elder in the village, people used to come to him for advice on all kinds of things, like if they wanted to write a telegram in English, or if a child put some seed into his nose and couldn't get it out. So, wide range of services he used to perform, and he really enjoyed that position in the village. My mother was a very calm, quiet person who looked after everything in the house and the family. I was a journalist all my life. I started teaching after I graduated, but I was not very good as a teacher, nor was I very interested in teaching. And when this opening came on one of the biggest daily newspapers in Sri Lanka, I applied and I was selected. And for the next 25 years, I worked on that paper, the Ceylon Daily News. I liked everything about that job, otherwise I wouldn't have lasted 25 years. I used to do the features, editorials, translations from the Sinhala into English, and anything else like interviews. I've interviewed a lot of very important people who came to Sri Lanka, mainly women, like Jawaharlal Nehru, the Indian Prime Minister's sister who was here, Marshal Tito's wife, and so many others. I can't even remember their names now. I got my first award was for creative writing in English. It's a Gratian Award, the biggest award in Sri Lanka. And then they started in the same trust, not annual, but every 2 years, prize for translations from Sinhala and Tamil into English called Ian Gudatilaka Award. 2 years later, I won that award, and that was 2005. And strangely, I won the same award in 2015. And in the meantime, every year the Department of Cultural Affairs gives awards to Sinhala and English writing for translations. For translations, I have won 6 awards. The July 22nd, where the Sinhalese started attacking the Tamils. That was a terrible time, and that morning I still remember I was at a conference in Colombo, and when all these things started, I went and picked up my eldest daughter, who was in the National Institute of Business Management following a course. I collected her and I came to the road to get some transport to come home. This was not very far, but I could see places burning, and there was nothing that we could do except start walking home. Then suddenly we saw a friend driving a car and shouted and screamed, and she stopped and brought us. When we came home, there were groups of Tamil, Sinhala, there were Tamils also in that group, I remember, damaging a house on the road. The noise of them attacking that man's van could be heard here. We were not really personally, physically hurt by the war, but it was mental, because all our boys were going north. They were being killed. There were landmines, and people. There was a boy who was working with me in the same room in the newspaper. He gave up journalism and he joined the army, and he was killed in a landmine. Not 6 months after he left. He was young, must have been under 25. So there were terrible things that affected us in that indirect way. In Sri Lanka, any parent, rich or poor, the stress is on educating the family, and there is no discrimination between girls and boys. If the daughter is doing well, then the daughter goes to the university. I think that is the biggest thing, and that is really a hope for the future.
Good afternoon, teacher. How are you? I am fine, thank you. And how are you? I like with jujus and nuts. I like mixing icing, sugar and cocoa powder. I like chopping jujus and peanuts.
I think Sri Lankan people are wonderful. All my life I have been involved with people of all ranks and file, and I have found that they have a lot of good in them and also a certain amount of bad, as with people all over the world.
And if you could change anything about Sri Lanka, what would it be, or if anything?
I don't want to change anything. I'm quite happy as it is.